666.
U.S GCC Iran Working Group statement. And let me just read parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Senior officials of the United States and the members of the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, convened their working group on Iran at the GCC's headquarters in Riyadh on November 17th, as decided by the U.S GCC Foreign Ministerial on September 23rd. The U.S. and GCC member states condemned a range of aggressive and dangerous Iranian policies, including the proliferation and direct use of advanced ballistic missiles and unmanned aircraft systems. The U.S. and GCC member states agreed that Iran's nuclear program is of grave concern and also called for Iran to fully cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Agency. The U.S. and GCC member states discussed a wide range of regional issues, including the situation in Iraq and Yemen, agreed that Iran's support to armed militias across the region and its ballistic missile program pose a clear threat to regional security and stability. They further agreed to hold subsequent meetings of this working group to discuss these and other issues within its terms of reference adopted in its inaugural meeting on earlier on 3 November 2015. The U.S. and GCC member states affirmed that Iran has a better alternative to these continued escalations and contribute to a more secure and stable region. Members of the GCC briefed on their efforts to build effective diplomatic channels with Iran to prevent, resolve, or de-escalate conflicts, backed by strong deterrence and defense cooperation with the United States. They described a vision for these regional diplomatic efforts developing over time to promote peaceful ties in the region based on a long history of economic and cultural exchanges. The U.S. and the members of the GCC affirmed that deeper economic ties after the lifting of U.S. sanctions under the JCPOA are in the mutual interest of the region. This is interesting. One of our early podcasts was about U.S.-Saudi relations, and we talked about how they might change under President Biden. And we are aware that the Saudis in particular weren't particularly fond of Barack Obama, in large part because the JCPOA that was negotiated with Iran was done without any forenotice or consultation with our Gulf allies. One of the things that we talked about in that earlier podcast about the difference between, what the Biden administration might bring was a greater emphasis on process and transparency. And this is an example of that. This GCC working group, was set up in 2015, really was dormant, but it's been reinvigorated and is now a framework to consult with, inform our allies, key allies in the region. And this certainly was not in evidence under President Obama, and certainly was not around under President Trump. So it's a new means of business, and I think it's a better means of business, and I think it will be attractive to our allies in the region. And this also came out, and just part and parcel of this, the special envoy for Iran, Robert Malley, was in the Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia in mid-October, again, consulting with our allies in the region about what the U.S. is thinking of doing with Iran or hopes to do with Iran. That's just good diplomacy. Mm-hmm. And so kudos to the Biden administration.
Yeah, the statement also sort of calls attention to the fact that the iron is hot in terms of trying to make some advances with diplomatic advances with Iran. They've just had their elections. The statement says, and I don't have it right in front of me, but it says something like, we call on Iran to seize the diplomatic moment right now, take advantage of the fact that there's a chance to make some progress here. So that's very interesting. I think you mentioned the GCC, the body was set up in 2015. I think, didn't President Obama visit Saudi Arabia in 2015 and for the inaugural or the first meeting?
He may have.
I think I only say that because I saw a bunch of photos of him on our website, sustg.com, of just all those meetings. And that was sort of before the Qatar rift. So it was an interesting collection of photographs.